Hey everyone, wanted to give you an update on the severe weather potential that's going to be ramping up. We got Peyton here. He's going to be given the 7-day, which is
I will give the 7 day.
the 7 day. Yeah. You're going to be given the 7 o'clock newscast on at 7. So that's a lot of sevens that are happening. Hey Jeremy, what's going on, man? Hope you're having a good Tuesday.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about your mom a lot lately. I really have. I've been praying for her. I hope everything is okay with your mom. Hey Matthew, let's get to it and show you what we've got. So I think some isolated storm development, either just to our north or very, very close. Look at that. Now we got 2 storms that are popping up. So there is a 40% chance of a watch being issued for areas of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, including a shout out to Colcord, which, by the way, very close to the March 2006 tornado. There's a lot to talk about on this Facebook Live, but we really don't have a whole bunch of time to do it because we got a 7 o'clock newscast that's happening here pretty soon. But I will say this, that 18 years ago tonight was the March 2006 tornado. And that was a bad one. And it was actually a tornado event that took place. But some energy swinging in right now. And look at the thunderstorm that's blossoming. I think they might have they still have it in clear air mode.
See some yellows on there.
They're starting to see some yellow, even in clear air mode. So there's some lightning that's popping up. And of course, the echo tops aren't going to show up right now because it's still in clear air mode. But we're watching for storm development potentially in southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma that could clip Delaware County and then could eventually clip us. What's interesting is yesterday I was doing the Facebook Live with Josh Weisel, and the models didn't have any storms at all, except for the global model. The European and the GFS.
Yeah, the long-range models.
The long-range models doing better than the short range and the high res. But there's a look at the front, which has translated eastward just a little bit. Here's a look at the mesoscale discussion. Well, there was a mesoscale discussion, but I guess it's dropped now. What?
Goodbye.
What happened there? Anyways, there was an outlined area of a 40% chance of a watch in northeast Oklahoma, but I guess that expired and that's over. So here's the energy that's swinging in. You can clearly see it. There is definitely a nice little short wave. Right at the leading edge of that dry punch is where we're getting thunderstorms that are popping up right there, which could eventually lead to right here, as this nose comes in, some isolated development. It's not out of the question. So let me show you the future trap model.
Starting to think now it might be too dry. The dry punch.
Yeah, but the dry punch is mid-levels in the atmosphere. And remember, that steepens your lapse rates aloft.
Yeah, that's true.
So it creates an elevated mix layer. And look at this. The models now have more activity, which is good because between 6 to 10 and 10 to midnight, I had rain in for weather rates.
Nice. Seems like these short-range models are only good about 2 hours.
2 hours out. Welcome.
2 days.
Yeah,
but
it's not. That's definitely got a little more activity now. There's no doubt that's been on the increase. So, so what do we mean by this?
Cook.
Bella Vista, let them cook. Yeah, let them cook. These models are
all the way over to Eureka Springs.
yeah, and then it moves east, and it's a very short window, but it is the potential for some isolated storms. And if you look at the 2-day precipitation forecast, we already had it. We had it in advance. I had it last night, even though the models didn't have anything. And why was that? Well, you could see the shortwave energy. You can't deny the energy. That's what I say about
you got to go with what
models. You know. Yeah. And there you can see the spin in the atmosphere. Look at the storms hitting up in Kansas City along with that activity. Yeah.
Still going too.
Yeah, a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. So if we go back in time, 24 hours, we're going to look and see this low that was moving eastward. And so there it is. You can see the energy moving in, and then there's the low that organizes, and then it's just
classic Lee cyclogenesis.
It's just too much.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get back to the risk for later on in the week because there the models are talking a little bit more about storms. Now, I have my doubts about tomorrow night's risk. What are your thoughts on this? Doubt. He doubts a lot too. Rob says, nah, the models. I listen to you instead of the models all the time. Well, got to be careful with that because there are times where we try to go against the models and they're the ones that
they're always going against us. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's a look at the risk. It kind of clips northwestern Benton County. This is for tomorrow night. Now, that's not really what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Thursday. Thursday's risk, pretty stout. This could be trouble. What we mean by trouble is we have a lot of instability. We have a lot of ingredients. What we don't know, Val, is if individual cities are going to be impacted.
Yeah.
Too far out for that. Watching Cassville, we're going to be watching that too. Again, that's going to be potentially some isolated storm activity before 10 o'clock tonight. But we don't know exact locations. Dew points are going to be very muggy. We'll show you that, Evan. Evan is on top of that like a fly on stick paper. So here's a look at, first of all, the risk. This is for Thursday afternoon into the early evening. I do believe you can see the size of the enhanced or of the slight risk. I think an enhanced risk for the day one is going to be possible.
Yeah, maybe two separate ones too. I think this slight is going to get split.
Yeah.
In two.
So the slight will be split in two, and maybe even enhanced will be showing up. So that hatched area, what that represents is significant. Significant, what we mean by that is the probability of winds 70 miles an hour or greater and hail 2 inches or larger. Those are the criteria in order to make a storm significant. So significant is pretty intense.
And for day 3, I don't know if you were about to lead into this.
Yeah.
But for day 3, they only do a probabilistic.
Yeah.
So it's not the wind, hail, tornado. It's just
that
any of the
alone.
3.
Yeah, because it's tough to say 3 days out what type of threat is going to be and exactly where that is going to be positioned. So we know that this is going to be the potential for damaging winds and large hail. Large hail is going to be a concern, and here's why. So this is looking at significant hail potential. And Sandra, we don't know exactly where the storms are going to be this far out. You have to understand that. It's too far out because the model data is just not good enough. It's not good enough 2 hours out, much less 2 days out. But there's a look at that significant hail potential. See the darker oranges? That's the higher potential for larger hail. You can also see the potential maybe that a larger storm moves into western Newton County. However, scale feature, that's not quite set in stone exactly what's going to happen. Let's show you the instability here. The Cape is definitely rather high with this system. Also, too, let's show you the dew points. So this is a look at the instability, if you will. There's the instability for tonight with those isolated storms potentially. Now, Wednesday, we're kind of capped. So even though we have the instability, we don't have the forcing. But we do get that on Thursday. Thursday, yeah, that's a lot of instability. And you can see that's the highest instability we've seen so far this spring, hands down.
Yeah.
Not even close. So that means that thunderstorms are going to be pretty intense. Now, if we look at the actual thunderstorm precipitation outlook, this is what you're going to see. And see, it's too early to say exactly what's going to happen, but I do believe that it's going to be fairly quiet Thursday morning because we're capped. We might see a little bit of isolated storm development, but Thursday afternoon, that's when things start ramping up. But you'll notice that there's no way to tell specific locations who's going to get impacted. You can see it's a pretty wide area for the chance of storms, Penny. So that's what you missed, is that we were talking about the risk for thunderstorms tonight. That's going to clip southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas. And again, don't know about Deer and Jasper, but I will say this. We got you covered, Donna, because we got that WeatherBug Network camera at Gaither Mountain. And it's a great view, by the way.
Not added on here.
No, it should be. It should be, yeah. There we go. There's Gaither Mountain. Look at the smoke off in the distance. Yeah. So there's a look at the sunset right around 7 o'clock. And we can move that camera too. So that is a pan tilt zoom camera. You're going to love that camera. We'll let Peyton move it. Yeah. So we'll move it westerly. Southwest, we kind of run into a little bit of a, so here you'll get to see this in real time. There's Boat Mountain off in the distance. Look at that valley. And look at all the smoke that you can see, all those prescribed burns. And then we got the tower. So the tower gets into view. And the camera needs to be level a little bit, but man, it's a great view. So that's looking southwest, obviously, and then that's looking almost due west.
Yeah.
So west and northwest, we've got a great view. So this is going to be Thursday afternoon. So again, going back to our graphics, Thursday afternoon, storms that are going to be popping. And there you got the storm activity. And then you can see as we move into our Friday afternoon, there's a storm potential. So Friday afternoon, the storms start to move out. So 1 to 2 inches, not out of the question, area wide, especially in the river valley. It's going to be a focus for thunderstorms. The farther northwest you go, the less the storm activity. Now, here's the 3-kilometer NAM. It just really doesn't have much storm activity at all. And so, well, now it starts to show up. It's actually a little later.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily buy that quite yet. I think that's too late.
I think it's still going to be, around their time,
Yeah.
earlier before that too.
I will say this, though, that still shows storms training over the area Friday early morning. One of the things we got to watch with this system is that it's positively tilted. So positively tilted means it's typically slower than expected. So that's one thing that we got to watch. But see all those little impulses, all these little pieces of energy? These are going to be tough to determine exactly where storms develop, but all those little pieces of energy will essentially lead to thunderstorm development. And then finally, that low starts to get elongated and move out. It just kind of remains to the southwest. A weird weather pattern, but nonetheless, something that we'll watch. Donita says it's really smoky here at Cherokee Casino in Roland. It is. It is. There's all sorts of prescribed burns. And, it's the time to do it because things can get out of hand pretty quick. But here's a time lapse from our Weatherbug Network camera at Mount Magazine. So this is looking off in the distance westerly in the river valley. Look at all that smoke right there. Yeah, visibility is just reduced to nothing. And then you can see that smoke plume off in the distance. So, yeah. How about this? Y'all need a camera on top of the mountain above Kingston now. You'll be able to see a lot between Huntsville and Gaither Mountain. If you have a contact, that'd be great to know. But yeah, the Gaither Mountain is so awesome. Can't wait to use that. And it's at night. It looks amazing as well. So again, to recap real quick, because Peyton, you got to get ready for that 7 o'clock news. Make sure you tune in. Some isolated storms possible tonight. Southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, parts of northwest Arkansas.
Southwest Missouri.
Yeah, southwest Missouri especially. Let's look at the graph real quick. See what that shows. The 3-kilometer graph. So this graph updates all the time. Let's see what we got. So that's the first thing. El Trasho. Because it doesn't even have, if we zoom out on this, it doesn't even have the storm development that's happening in southeast Kansas right now. Nope. It's too small scale. It's trash. Oh, there it pops up at 10 o'clock. Well, guess what?
Well, yeah.
It's already a thunderstorm right there. You can see it north of Parsons. And they switched it out of clear air mode. So there we go. Look at the difference when it goes out of clear air mode. So, yeah, you can definitely see that thunderstorm. Will there be other thunderstorms? I think so. Models have been hinting at it. There's definitely a lot of upper level energy. You did talk about that dry punch. However, and like you said, it is very dry in the low levels. This will be too dry for surface-based convection.
Yeah.
But still the potential for some storms. And then one last thing, we'll look at the HRRR. And we'll look at this to show that isolated storm development right there, southwest Missouri. And then the next thing is tomorrow night, some isolated storms. And then we've got storms for Thursday. So, yeah, the space capsule was awesome. I hope you got to see it. I was out. I got to see it this morning. It was pretty awesome. Josh is at the baseball game versus ORU with the Razorback baseball. It's a beautiful time for that. So camera is still looking good. Yes, thank you, Jason.
3-0 Hogs, top 4.
Jason made that possible. Appreciate it, man. Looking good. I guess that's it. So storms on Thursday, we got to watch real close. So, all right, 7:00 news is hitting up here very soon. So check it out on KXNW, and we will see you later. Anything you want to mention, Peyton?
No, I got nothing.
All good.
Yeah.
All good. Wyatt behind the scenes.
We'll
he's
keep you
sitting here.
updated. Please.
Yeah. We'll have we won't have another update for Facebook Live tonight
Right.
unless the storms are pretty intense that are moving in. But for tomorrow, we'll definitely talk about Thursday a little more in detail as we get closer. We have those individual risks. See you guys. God bless. Have a good one.